Granblue just turned 10 years old, and with a content cadence of releasing new units every other week, of course we ended up with a literal multitude of stories and plotlines involving said characters. Some are explored more than others, and some are, well, flat out forgotten. Hi, I'm Ducky, and for the first video on this channel, I want to talk about something that has been on my mind for quite some time now, but clearly not on Cygames. Today, I picked 3 plotlines that have been forsaken by God and probably forgotten, just like Kimura forgot Ingwe already had a 5-star on cap when making his event. These are all storylines and plot points that haven't received a single update or even mention for at least a few years. And while yeah, I know that sometimes Cygames like to bring back really old stuff and pretend not even a week went by in universe, looking at you, White Clover, the ones listed here have some extra reasons for boring me. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first forgotten storyline I want to talk about is the Alchemist's plot. This follows mainly Cagliostro and Clarice as they investigate and fight against the Alchemist of Helmut. This one really surprised me because it has a somewhat rich story that dates all the way back to OG EarthCag and had like 2 wall events and a couple Fate episodes. That's literally more writing than the entire background of a certain anniversary event. Telling a long story short, the introduction of the plotline happens in Earth Cagliostro Fate episodes from 2014 and 2015. After founding and popularizing alchemy, Cagliostro found herself antagonized by a group of alchemists called the Guild of Helmut. They managed to imprison her in a seal in which she stays for a long time, until we free her and she decides to tag along. The main antagonist of this event is Paracelsus, one of the leaders of the Guild of Helmut, who is kinda of psycho and wants to create a complete Philosopher's Stone, said to hold the power of a god. And surely enough, we see it in action, being able to not only resurrect, but also transform an homunculus into a mortal being. At the end of Alchemist's Desire, Paracelsus, having achieved his goal of creating a complete Philosopher's Stone, just vanishes away in a very magical girl villain fashion, promising to meet us again in the future. Which, of course, never happened. Alchemist's Desire launched in October 2020, almost 4 years ago. Ever since, we haven't seen a single update on this topic, which is especially strange with how popular Cagliostro is as a character. She got her grand version in 2021, with no connection to past events nor alluding to new ones. Clarice also received a summer out in 2022, that brought nothing new to the table. What aggravates this even more is the fact that Cagliostro is pretty much everywhere. She's in Versus, she's in Relink, she's in Tower of Babel, which runs every other month. She was in the most recent anniversary event. The entire concept of alchemy was brought up to the spotlight recently with the addition of the Alchemy Lab. Yet, not a single mention of Paracelsus and his godlike acquired powers. Miraele and Reset also never show up again in the game, ever. And you'd think that getting Aoi Koga and Yumiri Hanamori right during the apex of popularity of Kaguya-sama would indicate something about the importance of these characters. But I guess not. I really hope they pick this plotline back up someday. As a completely unbiased opinion, I think it has the potential to be a really cool story, if done with more modern writing standards. Maybe even throw Lamorak in there too. Moving on, the second forgotten plotline I'd like to address is Ariette Double Agent background. You might be thinking, Ducky, who the hell is Ariette? And well, yeah, that's why she's on this video. Ariette is a Wind SSR unit from 2015. Ever since her release, over 9 years ago, she only showed up again once during the Holidays mini-event in 2021. In her Fate episodes, we learn, in a somewhat cryptic way, that she's actually an agent working under no other than the Blue Knight himself. This is supposed to be a big deal, if you remember early days Granblue lore, when the Blue Knight was seen as this extremely powerful entity, the strongest of the Luminary Knights, and also a travel companion of the main character's dad. So, when it's revealed that she's working in secret with this big boss dude, we kinda expected this to go somewhere, you know? But now it's been over 9 years. The narrative has completely switched gears at least 3 times now, and the fact that she's probably an undercover cop is not a big deal anymore. And also, since we had Seeds of Redemption, an anniversary event where the Blue Knight had some spotlight and Irette was nowhere to be seen, makes me theorize that she's actually totally scrapped and forgotten. As a character, she got 2 rebalances in 2017 and 2018, but yeah, that's about it. She's one of these characters from early Granblue days that come from Rage of Bahamut and they didn't really know what to do with it. She seems decently popular over there though, with 5 different versions, including a swimsuit one, so I'm not exactly sure what made them completely forget and ignore her over here. Lastly, I wanted to tell you all about the fight between the Feathered Ones and the Eyes of the Night. And you obviously don't know what this means either, right? This is the main story development of Nezahawapili, aka the Birdman. He's the noble chieftain of the tribe of Feathered Ones, a group of mostly humans that live in harmony with birds. We meet him while he's traveling, trying to conquer his fear of heights, which he himself understands is kind of strange for the chieftain of a tribe of bird-loving people. He wants to conquer his own fears so that he can return to the Feathered Ones with newfound power and use it to stop a calamity that has been prophesied to befall his homeland. Once he does, we return to him and find some people already in despair as their beloved birds start to die en masse. The common folk and even some of the elders are losing faith, believing that the calamity is already starting. Nezahawapili goes to investigate, and soon we find the real responsibles, a group called the Eyes of the Night, powerful warriors that have the ability to see in the dark and manipulate shadows. And apparently they are seeking revenge against the Feathered Ones for being persecuted in the past. We don't get many more details, however, since as soon as their leader is found and finishes his villain monologue, he runs away with the classic, and already mentioned once before in this video, poof of smoke, leaving us with nothing but expectations. But then you look at the calendar. Original SSR Birdman was released and got a 5-star on cap in 2014. He then got an SR out in 2018, and that's where the meat of the plot actually comes from. Since then, it's been 6 years of radio silence. He did show up twice, randomly during the Dragon Blood War in 2021, where he did absolutely nothing of importance, and in the 2022 New Year's main event. But in both of these appearances, his tribe's pass or the Eyes of the Night were mentioned once. And that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching and getting depressed together with me. Let me know in the comments if there are any other characters or storylines you wish Cygames could remember about. I'm sure there's a bunch of interesting things stuck in the SR jail that I didn't explore in this video. So anyways, this was Ducky and I will see you all later.